In this lecture, we are going to render the header tools block on the server. You may be wondering, why are we choosing server-side rendering over client-side rendering? Let's say the user is logged in. The block shouldn't ask the user to sign in. Instead, it should greet the user. It's a dynamic block. Therefore, we are going to use server-side rendering. Let's get started. We've already prepared a function for handling the rendering of our block. In your editor, open the headertools.php file. As usual, we are going to be using output buffering to help us build the template. Inside the function, call the obstart function. Next, close and open PHP mode. Let's grab the template from the index.js file. Inside this file, grab the div tag with the block props variable. We can safely ignore the fragment element and inspector controls component. Lastly, let's paste this template into our PHP render function. The next step is to update our template with the same logic from the JavaScript file with PHP. For starters, let's remove the block props variable from the root element. This variable can be replaced with a class called WP block Udemy plus header tools. Afterward, let's start conditionally rendering the links. First, we need the attributes. Inside the argument list, add the attributes argument. Next, let's update the template by replacing the expressions with conditional statements. Unlike JavaScript, we can't use ternary operators to conditionally render the template. Luckily, we can stick to traditional conditional statements. Let's remove the expression surrounding the login link. Above the anchor element, enter PHP mode to enter a conditional statement. Next, let's move the anchor element inside the block. We are re-entering PHP mode to add the condition. Inside the block, PHP mode should be exited. Make sure your code matches mine. After confirming that it does, let's add the condition. We are going to check the showOff attribute. The showOff attribute is a Boolean value, which is expected by the conditional statement. We can check the attribute's value as is. That should do it. There's one more modification. At the moment, the template will not work because the class attribute is spelled incorrectly. Earlier, the class attribute was renamed to class name. This was to ensure compatibility with JavaScript. Let's revert the name to class. However, there are dozens of attributes. It would be tedious to modify each attribute. We can quickly modify the attribute by selecting the first instance of the class name attribute. Next, we can press Ctrl-D to select the next instance. You can repeatedly press this button to select all the instances. After selecting all the attributes, we can replace every attribute with the class attribute. Great! The template is ready. Let's finalize the render function by returning the template. At the end of the function, create a variable called output. The value for this variable will be the obgetContents function. Next, we can call the obEndClean function to clear the output buffer. Lastly, we can return the output variable. Time to test our code. In the browser, view the experimental page on the front end. As you can see, the header tools block appears without a problem. We should be able to toggle the links without breaking the template. I'm going to quickly disable the login link. Next, I'll refresh the page. Perfect. The login link does not appear on the front end. We can consider our block complete. The next step is to begin working on another block for rendering the form. Before moving on to the next lecture, enable the login link. Once you're ready, I'll see you in the next lecture.